What?
Your ideas are crazy.
My ideas are crazy?
Yeah. Everyone looks at you and just, I read it 1,000 times. You waste your time. It's like, this must be a hobby. Can we get the
Well, that's a dedication.
You know what? No one pays any attention.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
How many people tonight?
Good question. I can't say exactly, but I can tell you here in Church of Montreal, so many people walk by, but the ones that interact with me, like you're doing right now, 8 out of 10. I am. You should check the facts one more time if you'll discover I am anyway. So I just had a little discussion with the older gentleman who got into his car there. Basically, you know, the guy's saying that I'm totally clueless, don't know what I'm talking about, nobody listens to me, nobody believes me, and so on. Well, he's mistaken. As I just pointed out to him, you know, when I protest in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal against Unitarian Universalist clergy misconduct and so on, you know, most of the people do walk by. They don't say anything one way or the other. But of the people that do stop and interact with me, like that older gentleman just did in a negative manner, the vast majority actually agree with me, especially after hearing what I have to say about it. In fact, that happened last Sunday. The vast majority of the people who I spoke with, you know, agreed with me. They even went so far as to call the Unitarians crazy for misusing blasphemy law to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, or at least to try to. But that's a fact, you know. It is, on average, at least 80%. Now, I'm trying not to exaggerate, I'm trying to be reasonably, I dare say conservative, but you know, in real terms, it's maybe more like 9%. Yes, there's a small percentage, let's say 10% of people that, you know, claim not to believe. They think, you know, I'm wrong. But most of these people, you know, speak out of ignorance. The ones that talk to me, you know, usually agree 100% with what I'm saying. And interestingly enough, of the small percentage of people who actually have an initially negative response, you know, the vast majority just walk away. I don't have any chance to talk with them. But some of them I do get a chance to talk to. Sometimes when somebody has a negative reaction, actually like this fellow just did, when I talk to them and explain everything to them in detail, some of them, not all, but some of them come around to agreeing with me. So well, here's a member of the church who just walked by, you know, doing her very, very best to totally ignore everything, pretend it doesn't exist. But you know, there's this thing called psychological denial. There's a thing called willful ignorance, and that's essentially what this gentleman that I spoke with displayed. Although it was clear that he had been briefed by Sue Montgomery. You know, Sue Montgomery had given her version of the facts. Of course, total bullshit, doing her very best to, you know, look good and everything, to make herself look good. And of course, he swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker, because he wants to believe that Sue's, you know, the wonderful champion for, you know, rights and so on that she claims to be or pretends to be. But the interesting thing is, you know, when I spoke to this guy, as I'm doing right now, when I told him the same thing, I said, you know what, sir, you know, you think that nobody believes me, but I can tell you that, you know, of the people that do interact with me when I'm protesting in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, 8 out of 10 agree with me. When I said that, he said, oh, well, then you're in the right place then. Now, he might have been sarcastic. But it's a fact. The vast majority of people who see these signs and other signs agree with me, and anyone can check their facts. You know, I keep saying check your facts. You know, just go on the internet, do your own fact checking, and you'll see that I'm right. I got documents supporting what I'm saying. I got video evidence supporting what I'm saying, and so on. So there's really very little question. I think what's very telling too is that the Unitarian Universalist Association accused me of blasphemous libel in an effort to cover up pedophilia and rape 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. And guess what? I haven't been charged. Why haven't I been charged? Because it's full of shit. They are liars. They are frauds. It is completely untrue that A, I'm making false allegations about Unitarian Universalist ministers, and B, that my allegations about Unitarian Universalist ministers amount to blasphemous libel. Completely and utterly false. In fact, even if I was actually doing what Maitre Marc-André Coulombe falsely claimed I was doing, that is, making unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. In other words, even if I was actually lying about Unitarian Universalist ministers being pedophiles and rapists, that would not constitute a criminal act of blasphemous libel. The only circumstance under which it could be blasphemous libel to accuse Unitarian Universalist ministers, to criticize them for engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, is if such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape were held to be sacred by Unitarian Universalists. The last time I checked, Unitarian Universalists don't hold such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape to be sacred or holy. So I think we're on very safe ground there. And the same thing goes with the false libel accusation that Sue Montgomery hired Gowling's Henderson LaFleur lawyer Mark Banty to bring against me, or more likely the Gazette hired him. So I have a funny feeling the Gazette is most likely, responsible for me being served with this cease and desist demand letter. I was accused of libeling Sue on the 4th of December of 2014. That's more than 8 months ago now. And Mark Banty, one of the last things he said is, my client will not hesitate to take appropriate legal action, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? She's been hesitating for more than 8 months. Now, why might that be? Could it be because everything that Mark Banty wrote in that legal letter is total bullshit? That basically I'm not libeling Sue at all, that everything I say about Sue is supported by evidence, and it's not even close to being libel? You might want to check that out. In fact, I sent Mark Banty a letter today reminding him that, hey, 8 months ago you said that you, the client, will not hesitate to sue me for libel. Well, come on, hurry it up, cock, let's go. I'm ready when you are. We'll see what happens with that. So Sue Montgomery just said she's organized. Well, she's not very organized when it comes to Sue Montgomery. She might be organized. She might be organized in terms of trying to present herself as this wonderful champion of rape victims, but she's also organized in terms of trying to cover up and hide clergy sexual misconduct committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. Sue Montgomery is organized and has been organized with the Unitarian Church of Montreal to do their very, very best to shut down my protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy misconduct in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Sue Montgomery has been very, very organized in not reporting the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association falsely accused me of blasphemous libel. And Sue Montgomery must have been very, very organized to have Mark Banty, Gowling, Henderson, LaFleur, media lawyer and defamation lawyer, have me served with a arrogant and aggressive cease and desist demand letter that falsely accused me of libeling Sue on, I think, around half a dozen or so. There's half a dozen or so different things cited. Well, when Mark Banty had me served with that letter, within 2 days I had responded to it and I showed how every single thing that he had said is completely false, and that I have evidence to support everything I'm saying that he pretended was libel. Well, guess who I haven't heard from in more than 8 months? Gowling, Henderson, LaFleur, media lawyer, Mark Banty. You haven't heard boo from him. And I sent him a letter today saying, hey, Mark, you said your client will not hesitate to sue me for libel. Well, Mark, it's been 250 days since your client said she would not hesitate to sue me for libel, and guess what? You haven't served papers yet. Maybe it'd be a really good idea for you and Sue Montgomery to withdraw your false libel accusation against me, profusely and publicly apologize to me for falsely accusing me of libel, and if you do, I'll be lenient in the accountability I seek against you. Because believe you me, Mark Banty and Sue Montgomery, to say nothing of the Gazette as an institution, I will be seeking accountability against Sue Montgomery. I'm doing it right now at one level. I will be seeking accountability in terms of Mark Banty's immoral, unethical, legal bullying, falsely accusing me of libel. This is going to happen. And I put Mark Banty on notice of that again tonight.
No, it wasn't.